everybody doing? My name's Mike, and we got Mr. Roots hanging out on place, and we also have Miss Charlotte with us today. So what we're going to be doing today is working with Miss Charlotte and doing her daily basic routine. That's just where we do their obedience routine for about 5 to 10 minutes a day. We instruct the owners to work with the dog, and the way that works is it's a lot like if you play a sport. Like if you play basketball, you're going to shoot free throws every day to be good at them. So when you're in a game and you shoot a free throw, if you want to be able to perform that and sink those shots, you must practice them every day. And it's the same thing with the dog. If you want your dog to sit, lay down, and do plays and all those things, they must practice it every day. You cannot expect the dog just to do these things at certain times. You know, there's a lot of people that will ask me, well, can I just have my dog behave just when someone knocks on the door? No, your dog must behave all the time, be calm all the time for them to be able to do these things. If you allow the dog to be excited throughout their life, then they're going to be a more excited dog. And if you encourage the dog to be calm like that, good girl, good place, they're going to be a more calm dog throughout their life. So we'll go ahead and get started, and what she's working on is her down command. So we're going to be doing sit, heel, place. We use stay, but we don't say the word stay. So if I tell her place, which is that bed, if she goes to move from it, I will repeat the command place. If I tell the dog to stay, what I really meant was stay in place. So that means you can just say the word place, sit, or down, whatever the dog's doing, to remind them what you want. If you add the word stay, now you're teaching the dog there's like a different part to this command, and we don't want to have to tell the dog stay. We just want to repeat what we want from the dog. It's going to make it simpler for you, more simple for you and the dog. So let's go ahead and get started with her. And now, anytime I come to place, she has to stay on place until I tell her she can come off. Good girl, good place. That's why I'm wiggling the leash, just to make sure she's not going to fly off. Okay, heel. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. So if the dog does what I want, then I'm going to reward the dog by petting her. Good girl. Good sit. And if I ask her to sit and she didn't do it, then I would say no correction direction. So I tell the dog no, and then I would actually tug the leash and tell the dog to sit. So those are the two things you're going to be doing with the dog, is you're either encouraging or discouraging the dog. To encourage, we're going to say good girl. To discourage, we're going to say no, correct them, and repeat the command. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Now again, I'm going to move, and if I want her to stay sitting, I'm going to say sit. Good girl. Sit. Good job, girl. Good sit. Good girl. Good sit, girl. Heel. Good girl. Sit. So anytime we come up to a place or the front door or any type of threshold, we have the dog sit first. Place. We make sure the dog's calm. Then we invite them through the door onto their place. So anytime the dog comes onto this bed, the dog must sit. Anytime the dog goes into their crate or through the front door, they must sit before they cross that threshold. That serves for them to stay calm. Good girl. Good place, girl. Good place. Place. See how I repeat that and she listened? Good girl. Good place. That tells you the dog is learning. She understands my communication. It's clear with her. She hears me say the word place. She doesn't ignore me. And the reason she doesn't ignore me is because in the past, if she came off the bed, I would correct her. I'm ready to jump into place and correct the dog the second her paw is about to touch that ground. So that's why you see her have that type of respect. Heel. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Heel. So I'm going to bring her over here. I use the concrete to get the dogs to lay down. It makes it easy for them to slide into place. Sit. Good girl. Down. Atta girl. Good job, girl. Good down. Good girl. So again, I'm going to repeat the command of down. Good girl. I'm not going to say stay. We're going to say down. Good job, girl. That's a good down. That's a good girl. Heel. Good job, girl. Come on, girl. Sit. Place. Good girl. Atta girl. Heel. Sit. Down. Good girl. Good job, girl. Good down. Rewarding her big time for the down because this is something I just taught her this week. This is the last thing they learn before they go home. Good girl. Good down. Down. So if she were to break that down, we would just correct her. Hey, she can't investigate my shoes too much either. We'll correct them for sniffing the carpet, the ground, pretty much doing anything but laying there. Good girl. Good down. Atta girl. Heel. Sit. Place. Good girl. And you want to end this on a good note when they're doing good. Good job. Good girl. You want to end it while they're doing good. Heel. Good girl. Sit. Down. That's a good girl. And that's the last. See how she got a little excited? So if I were to put my hand around her and she uses her mouth does that at all, I'm going to correct her. So that's why you heard me verbally say hey to her when I go and reach my hand out. It's a lot for some dogs. They get excited. They're only going to bark, lunge, or bite. A dog can get excited and just nip you just from going to pet them. I've dealt with a lot of dogs who we have to teach them not to use their mouth when they're excited. So those are all little signs you want to watch for in your dog and correct those things, because if not, they will only grow into an issue. Heel. Sit. Place. Good girl. Atta girl. So that's it for today. That's all she needs to really place. That's all. And I also lay the leash out so that if she went off a place, I can just step on the leash and that will stop her from leaving. Then I can correct her and put her back on a place. No correction direction. So after this, what will happen is I'll put her in her crate for about 15 minutes. Then I will end up getting them their food. So how that works out is the dog's like working for their food. They're doing the obedience commands, then we put them in the crate to let them rest. If we simply let her just walk outside with her after this, it kind of almost doesn't sink in for them. In my opinion, it helps them, it helps the training sink in when the dog is put directly into the crate after training. They have a few minutes just to relax and let everything soak in, and then we feed them. Then it's kind of like a reward for them at that time. So every day, work the dog 5-10 minutes in these basic obedience commands, and then throughout the day, the dog's either in the crate place or next to me at the leash working here, or outside going to the bathroom. So those are the three places the dog would be. And the dog is always in training, so when the dog's in the crate, she can't be making noise, or else we will correct her. Same thing when she's on place hanging out here. She can sit, lay down, she can do whatever she wants on place. She just can't chew the bed or anything. And as long as she's quiet and on the bed, that's her job is just to stay there until we give her another command. So, and then when we go to the front door, that's the threshold. They're heeling to the front door, sitting at our side, walking through the front door, and then when we're outside, it's the same thing. When they go to the bathroom, we have them sit beforehand, then we release them. So you start to have 100% control of the dog and give the dog commands for everything. So this 5 minutes, the dog is really practicing those commands in succession, and then the rest of the day, the dog is practicing the commands throughout the day in your daily life.